Today I'd like to show you a little bit about how our ScareMaster works and how to use it to program one of our BooBox controllers. So here's our ScareMaster here. And as you can see, we've got a screen and some controls on it. This is our record button, our play button. We have 8 output buttons, which are used to activate the outputs on the controller that you're connected to. And the top 4 are also used to control the menus on the screen. We've got 2 sliders, which are used to also navigate the menus, and also used to dim lights if you're connected to some DMX lighting. The enable button here enables and disables certain outputs for recording if you just want to do 1 or 2 at a time. On the back we've got some jacks here. We got our power jack, which you don't use most of the time, because most of the time the ScareMaster gets its power from the controller port here. This is where you connect the ScareMaster to your BooBox. This is the computer port. This is for future use. An expansion port, which we can use to program peekaboos or other things, and an SD card slot. This is where you put any standard SD card. This is where the ScareMaster reads the sounds and stores the animation that you've programmed for your props. This here is an audio out. This is where we connect peekaboos or BooBox 4s if we want to program sounds. For those units you actually have to play the sound into them to record it. So the ScareMaster can do that with an audio cable here and using either the expansion port or the BooBox for one of the controllers, depending on which one you're using. Alright, so let's get started here. So the first thing that happens is we plug in standard Ethernet cable into our controller, and then we're going to plug the second end into our ScareMaster. First thing you're going to see on the screen is the ScareMaster's version number, followed by the BooBox's version number. So take note of those and come back to our site once in a while and make sure that you have the latest version numbers, because we're always adding features and maybe fixing the odd bug or two, so it's a good idea to try and keep up to date. So we've got ScareMaster version 102 and FI206 version 102. So FI206 is the model number of our BooBox Flex here that we're using. So after it showed the version numbers, you may have noticed that it downloaded the scenes from the BooBox. As soon as you plug it in, it downloads all of the animation that has been stored in the unit. So now if we press play, whatever animation is stored in here will start playing back, as well as the sound that's been stored in there with it. So let's press play now. So as you can see, the outputs on the Flex are turning off and on. Normally this controller is installed in a prop, either that you bought from another manufacturer or one that you're building yourself. So you'll have to use a little bit of your imagination here. Normally we've got some valves connected or some lights or relays, something that this controller is doing. But today we just want to focus on the ScareMaster. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing with the screen and the buttons. So use your imagination a little bit and pretend that we've got an elaborate prop hooked up here. So let's say we want to edit this scene that we've seen on our controller here. Well, to do that, we can hit record. That sound will play back, and then we can just hit the buttons, and then the buttons will start coming on. You can see you can actually just hit them live right now, just to kind of get a feel for the outputs, for, you know, maybe see how the prop moves, get some tweaking done on the speeds of your air cylinders or something, and get everything right before you start recording. So once you're ready, hit record, the sound will start playing, and do whatever you want with the outputs. And that's it. Recording is done. So if we were happy with that, we could save it, disconnect it, and our controller would be changed. It's that easy. Now if you want to do a little bit more elaborate work, you can disable some of the outputs and only work on a few of them at a time. So let's say we were happy with what we did with the first 4 there. So I can hold enable and disable the recording of the first 4. Now when I hit record, these first 4 will play back and will only be recording the last 8. Or the last 4, sorry. So we'll hit record. And now as you can see, it's playing back the first 4. And whatever I'm doing with the second 4 is also recorded. This allows you to really focus on an output. If you have like a mouth that you're working on or some other motion that really requires a lot of focus, then you can just do one output at a time and keep building, you know, the program out one output at a time until you've got it just right. So once you've got this program the way you want it, you have to save it into your controller. Right now it's actually only in the memory of the ScareMaster. It's not on the card and it's not on the controller. If you were to unplug it right now and walk away, there would have been no changes. So to save it, we go into the menu, and you do that by holding Enable and pressing play as it says here. And now we've gone into our menu. And the first option is Save Changes. So under the 4 buttons here, you can see we've got some little indicators as to what these buttons do when you're in the menu. Hitting this one enter or selects the selection, this goes down, this one goes up, and this one exits. So we're just going to save the changes here. So I'm going to hit enter. It's first going to save it to the card. Now it's going to save it to the boot box. So that's it. The program is now saved. If I were to disconnect the ScareMaster and trigger the boot box, it will play back the exact same sound and the exact same animation that we just programmed a moment ago. So there you go. It's as simple as that to make a quick change to a program.